I am Dr. Pavitra Bharadwaj. I am Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science, Jesus and Mary College, University of Delhi. So friends, in this series of our lectures, we are talking about web programming, and this is going to be the fifth lecture in the series. So before this, we had actually spoken about the internet, the architecture of the internet, how the internet is organized, and what are the different services which are provided by the internet. We had also spoken about services like domain name servers, we talked about FTP, we had talked about telnet, remote login, and of course the World Wide Web. Now today's lecture is going to be more practical oriented lecture, because in this lecture we are going to actually talk about the development of front end interface for the websites. So we all understand that the internet is organized in a client server architecture, where we have a part of the website which is accessed by the client, that is by the viewer, through his or her browser, and from the client the request is sent to the server, the web server in this case, and the server will process the client's request and send back the response to the client back. Now the thing is that when a client logs in to the website, or when a client wants to access a website, what is the first interface that the client sees? So that interface is known as the front end of the website, and the processing of the data which is supplied by the client happens at the server side, and that is known as the back end of the website. So the website actually functions at two places, at two, we can say at two platforms. One is the front end and the other is the back end. So here front and back words that we are using, they are actually with respect to or with regard to the client, what is in front of the client and what is not in front of the client. So we understood that a number of technologies are used for web development or for web programming for that matter. Certain technologies are used only for the front end development, like the HTML. Certain techniques are used only for the back end processing, okay, like we have the PHP, or we have other kinds of server side languages. And then there are some technologies or some tools which we use both at the front end, that is at the client's end, as well as at the back end or the server's end. Such are like scripting languages. We know that we have JavaScript, and there are other scripting languages which can be used equally at both the ends, the client's end as well as the server's end. So now for the beginning level, when you actually start your first steps into the realm of web programming, the first thing that you learn is the HTML language, right? So HTML basically, it stands for hypertext markup language. Now every word in this acronym is important. It is called hypertext because it is having certain texts which act as links, right? So when we do normal any kind of word processing or document processing programs, we know that we can create hyperlinks, right? So here the hypertext is nothing but a hyperlink. It is called markup because in this there are no programming commands that we will be used, but only certain symbols or certain marks that we will be using for creating the look and feel of the page. And of course it is a language because it's a computer language which will be used to create the web pages. So an HTML file, actually it is a text file, and this text file contains some markup tags, right? So anything, there are certain predefined tags which we will be talking about, and every tag has a specific function, right? So that function which is defined for that particular tag is known as a markup. So the tags actually, they will tell the web browser how to display a page, okay, and then you save that text file with either .htm or .html extension. So a text file means that if you are using a Windows computer, then you can open the notepad, okay, and in the notepad you type the HTML tags, you type the commands, and then you save that file which is so far which is a text file with an extension .htm or .html. So that file will now become an HTML file and not remain a text file. Remember, by default all files will be saved as .txt file. So you have to be careful and you have to save your file in the HTML format. So then your file will become the HTML file. Now HTML is a very peculiar and a very simple tool which is used, and even at a very young age people can learn HTML language. There are several reasons for this simplicity. First is that it is case insensitive and it is a clear text language. So it doesn't matter whether you type in uppercase or lowercase. It ignores all white spaces. Okay, it is comprised of tags. What is a tag? Anything which comes under the angle brackets. In between the two opening and closing angle bracket is known as a tag. So tags are what? Tags are basically the elements which are used to create specific kinds of formatting, specific kind of designing components in the page. Okay, and it is actually for many tags. There are different types of tag, we will be discussing that also. So you can also define the pairs of tags. So every tag need not have a pair, but there you can specify the range of a number of tags, that is from what point to what point you want that kind of formatting to be applicable, and those tags we say that they are in pairs. So whatever comes in between is called as the element content, right? So you have an open tag, then you have the content on which you want that particular formatting to be applied, and then you have the closing tag. Now HTML actually does not give any errors. This is very important to note, that HTML will never give you any error. So if you are not using the tag correctly, or if you are making any kind of mistake, then how do you get to know? Because you will not get the desired output. So therefore HTML language, that way it is simpler also, but it can be a bit tricky also, because it will not, the system itself or the language itself will never prompt you as in what mistake you have committed. So we have certain tags which we call as the open tags. Open tags means that there is no corresponding closing tag for them. Like for example, we have the horizontal rule tag, that is the HR tag. We have the BR tag, which is used for the line break. There are multiple tags that we will come across when we actually do the programming, and these tags are known as open tags because they do not have a corresponding closing tag for them, right? Then you have some tags which have a corresponding closing tags. Those tags are known as close tags, or we sometimes also use the word container tags for them. So open tags can be called as empty tags, and closing the tags which have got a corresponding closing tag also, those are known as container tags, because they will contain the element, or they will contain the data on which the effect of the tag is to be seen, right? For example, if you want to show a line of text in bold, but you don't want the entire text on the page to be bold. So what you will do is you will only put that much text in the B and /B tag which you want to display in the bold formatting. So most large number of tags which are used in HTML are container tags. So there will be a corresponding closing tag for these. And how do you define a closing tag? You define them by using a backslash and then the name of the same tag. Whatever tag you are using, you put a backslash, then it becomes the closing tag. And another important type of HTML element is the comments. So comments, basically, as we all know, that comments are used to enhance the readability of your code. So if any other person is ever going to read your code, so the comments will provide them the text information or the purpose of using the particular element in the page. So whatever you want to be used, to be shown, but not to be displayed as an output, that part you will put as an comment. So the basic function of comment will be to enhance the readability. So now if we look at the basic structure of an HTML page, so the first tag or the first element that you put on an HTML file is the HTML tag. So this declaration will allow the browser to know which allow the processor of the notepad or of your the text editor to know that this is not a normal text file, but it is going to be an HTML file. Now your entire document can be divided into two logical portions. First portion is known as the header portion and the second portion is known as the body portion. Now it's very important to understand that these are only logical divisions on the page, because actually there is no such division on the page which you will see that where the head is ending and where the body is beginning. But when you define these portions, you know how your content can be divided. So basically in the head portion you will put the titles, you will put the headings, and the main content will be put in the body portion of your page, right? Now in the basic structure if we are talking about, so as I just said that the first element is going to be the HTML element or the HTML tag, and the last tag on the page will be the closing HTML tag. So it will be /HTML, right? Then you have the head portion or the header portion, what we say. So that is defined by the head tag. So you have in the head you can define the title of the page, whatever title you want to give, and you can also define some meta tags, right? And then of course you have the body portion in which your main web page content will come. All the information that you want to put on the page will become a part of the body. Now the meta tag which you can see is very important here, because the meta tag actually holds the information which makes your page readable by the search engines. Okay, so actually how does search engine know what is the content of the page and how will your page appear as a search result on any search query on any search engine? It is through this meta tag. So in the meta tag actually the information about the page is put, that is what is the page about, what are the images that the page contains, what are the keywords which are there in the page. So using this meta information, the search engine will not go through the entire page, it only reads the meta information which has been provided in the meta tag in the head portion, and looking at that information the search engine will retrieve the page and it will show it as a result. So therefore this is a very important step which all designers must follow, that for every web page that they are creating they should provide the information, the keywords, what the the titles of the images, the description of the page in the meta, so that their page can become more and more visible to the search engines, right? Then we have the, after the head we have the body portion. So in the body, as I just said, you will have the main content of your web page, all the tables will be there, the images will be there, all the forms, all fields, lists, etc. everything is going to be a part of the body tag. So in the body whatever you type is going to appear on your browser screen. So actually what happens is that when you save a page in the HTML format, you will see that the page icon, the icon of the file will be the icon of your default web browser. For example, on my system the default web browser is Google Chrome. So whenever I will save the file as HTML file, the icon of the file will be like that of the Google Chrome icon. So looking at that you understand that this is not a normal file, but this is actually an HTML file, a web page file which is going to open in the Google Chrome, in the browser. So you write the code, you describe or you define the tags, the elements in the notepad or in any text editor for that matter, and you look at the output in the Google Chrome or in any of the browsers which you are using on the system. Now besides this, this is the simplest way of running or seeing how HTML works, that is you do it in the notepad and you open it in the browser and you see it. But nowadays we also have a lot of commercial applications, a lot of softwares which help you very easily code or create the HTML pages, right? So those, like for example, one of those are Adobe Dreamweaver. Now of course these are proprietary softwares and it may not be easy for everybody to work on these. So sometimes it's only at a later stage or maybe at a professional stage that you start using those tools, but for a beginner it is the best way to use the notepad to learn it, the text editor to learn it, because that way you learn the use of most tags easily, because it does not prompt you, whereas if you are using a professional tool like a Dreamweaver, it is going to prompt you a lot of information. So this is the structure of the page, as you can see. So the title of the page is the what you see on the top, then you have the header page part, and then you have the body part. So as I just said, that this discrimination or this division between the head and the body is only a logical division. On the page itself you will not see any kind of demarcation which has been done. So after we have seen the complete structure of the page, that we know that there are two parts in the page, the header part and the body part. Now we need to look at some of the elements or some of the HTML tags which can be used for formatting the text on the page. So formatting the text may mean multiple things. So it may mean the appearance of the text, it may mean the size, it may mean the color, it may mean the font. So multiple effects can be used, can be applied to the text which you are showing on your web page. So the first and foremost tags that we look at when we are talking about formatting tags are the heading level tags. So in heading level tags, basically we have 6 tags. These are 6 levels. So we have level 1 to level 6, and these tags are known as the H tags. So you have H1 to H6, where H1 is the largest and H6 is the smallest, right? And you can also see after the H6 tags I have written the HR tag. HR tag here means it is used for drawing a horizontal rule, a horizontal line on your page. So if you will look at the output of the header tags, it will look like this. So you can see that H1 header, which is the level 1 header, shows the largest size, and level 6 header will show the smallest size. So you can use H1 to H6 depending upon the requirement. It is going to set the font size on its own. Besides this, there are n number of formatting tags which are used, and some of these are very important. Like for example, for paragraph formatting we use the P tag. P stands for paragraph. In this tag also we can give several other definitions, like we can give the alignment attribute. Say for example, if you want to align a paragraph to the center of the page, so you can use the align attribute of the P tag. So actually these are the basic tags we are talking about at this moment, but all these tags, they have certain attributes which you can define, and you can further refine the look and output of the tag. Say for example, with the P tag, when you want to define the paragraph, you can use the align attribute can be used, where you can give left, right, center, or even justified. So the text in your P tag will become aligned accordingly, right? Whenever you use a P tag, automatically the text will start from a fresh line, from a new line, right? Because it will consider it as a new paragraph, right? Then if you want a line break, that is in between the two lines you want a gap of a line, or you want a blank line to be inserted, then you will use the BR tag. So BR stands for line break. Horizontal line or horizontal rule, as I just said, can be drawn using the HR tag. Now here also, using the HR tag, you can define how big or small your line can be, and you can also define the thickness of the line. So if you want to control the size of the line, you can use the size attribute with the HR. So you can simply write HR one space and size is equal to, and you can give the size, right? So you can give the size in pixels, or you can give the size as a percentage of the screen area, right? And you can also give the width with the HR attribute, the HR tag, the width attribute will show how thick or thin the line is going to be. And further we can also give the color to the line. So all these attributes can be used within the tag so that it can be further enhanced. The properties of that tag can be further enhanced. Then if you want to create something, if you want to show some text in bold, it's simple, like in your word processors you use. So you have the B attribute, the B tag, I is used for italics, U is used for underline, right? And then there is one more very interesting formatting tag, which is the TT tag. So TT is basically stands for teletype or typewriter kind of font. So if you want some text to appear as if in the typewriter kind of font, you can use the TT tag. Then you have another tag, which is the strong tag. Strong basically means that the text is going to appear bold. So the effect of the strong and the bold tag is more or less the same. Then we have the subscript tag. So if you want any text to be shown in subscript, for example, you have this H2O. So here the number 2 is actually shown as a subscript. So you will use the sub tag. And if you want some text to appear as a superscript, then you will use the SUP or soup command or the soup tag. So superscript and subscript. So likewise, there can be multiple formattings which can be done, and all these tags will add a lot of richness and a lot of variety and a lot of attractive element to your page. So we will continue learning about HTML tags in the following lecture also. Till then, please keep watching CEC. Thank you.